We're now been joined by the National President of the Nigeria Liquefied Petroleum Gas Association, is Dayo Adishino. He is to my far left. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And to my immediate left, he is the immediate past chairman of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry LPG Group. That's a liquefied petroleum gas group. Thank you. That is Prince Bambo Ademilui. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
We are looking at the petroleum sector, and I know that for our viewers, there have been concerns, there have been issues as to how we are doing in Nigeria vis-a-vis what's going on in the international market. I'm going to start with Bambo Ademilui. Or rather, I want to start with Dayo, not Bambo. I get your name mixed up. I just want us to have an overview of what's going on in the petroleum sector in Nigeria, first of all.
Well, at the moment, the refineries, as you know, are not working at full capacity, and output is admittedly low. Imports extremely high. With the PIB not being passed on the upstream aspect of the industry, there's a lot of investments that have been stifled, and it will take a while. I mean, hardly do you have any drilling programs as much as you had probably 5-6 years ago. With that, new entrants, divestments from IOCs, new entrants into the sector, people like Heritage, marginal field operators, Pillar, Platform. So it's a new dawn for some of the Nigerian players, but at the same time, if you take a holistic approach at the sector, a lot needs to be done. Investment needs to come in significantly from where it is today, because there's been a real decline in our production levels. But the focus has been on gas all of a sudden, which is where we should be really.
Okay, we should be looking at gas and
extremely, because oil? Yes, because Nigeria is a country with gas with a bit of oil. That's the way I put it. Significant reserves of gas that haven't been explored at all. The bulk of the gas we have today is from is associated gas, which was discovered when crude oil was being produced. So really, I mean, we're a gas-rich country. I mean, if you look at Qatar, for example, they've harnessed their gas resources and made significant revenues from that, and we should be at that level as well. The oil will run out at some stage, but we still haven't tapped the gas as much as we should.
Okay, we'll come back to the issue of the oil running out. Of course, we've all heard about the discovery and the increased production in shale oil. Yeah. But before we get to that, let me come to Prince Adebambo. I just want us to look at what's going on in terms of some companies in Nigeria, some IOCs, because Dayo was talking about the fact that we've seen the new entrants into the petroleum sector, but we've also seen some companies selling off their oil blocks. Some kind of contradiction there. Why we're seeing new entrants, some are actually leaving, for whatever reason. What does that say about what's going on in the sector?
Well, my take on that is that companies that are leaving have alternatives. And those alternative locations have policies that encourage investment. In Nigeria, Dawa said that we still haven't got the PIB right. We still haven't got it to where it should be. And until that happens, there won't be a base for people to operate. So those companies that are leaving are rightly so doing, they are doing so rightly, in the sense that it's not everybody who is patient with his funds. And if you can operate somewhere else where there's a better environment provided by policies, then why keep your investment in a place where there seems to be a lull in policy trust? So they are leaving, and some other companies, smaller ones, are coming in. We're seeing a lot of activities with indigenous operators. That's good, but that's not really where we should be. I mean, we have the reserves to keep those big companies here. And like Dio said, we need also to start looking seriously at producing our gas, which we have not even scratched at all. It's just there, sitting there. And we have it, and we are spending all our energies and the little income we have importing products for our population's use, and we keep other countries working. We are providing a work for other countries, you know, to keep their refineries going while our refineries are dead. It's a policy thing. I think there needs to be a whole change in the thinking of government and priorities.
Okay. While we wait for the for the PIB to be passed, I was reading in the dailies a few days ago where the Minister for Petroleum, Mrs. Dezani Alice Maduke, saying that the refineries performed to a certain extent in the last few months, about 10% production capacity. That may not be so much an impressive performance, if you would. I know that that's what you're going to say. But let's look at the issue of the fact that our refineries need to be put back in shape. What is going on? Why is it been delayed? Let me hear from Dio on this respect. What is the problem? Is it tied to the PIB? Is it that without the PIB being passed, we can't fix our refineries? Or what are those intricacies that many of us don't understand?
Well, no, those are two separate issues. I mean, the PIB has absolutely nothing to do with the refineries. The refineries have been long in existence before we even thought about trying to put a PIB into place. It's a mindset, and where there's a will, there's a way. There's no man who had a vision that ended in confusion. And once you don't put a policy in place where you're insistent that your refineries must work at a certain capacity, you set targets for them. Make sure that, I mean, in setting those targets, you also make sure that all the necessary tools for them to work are there. A lot of those refineries are aging refineries. They need to be upgraded. Now, are you ready to invest in upgrading those refineries, or do you want to let them keep failing and putting us in this situation where we have to depend solely on imports to run a country? Because it's really absurd. I mean, how do you have refining capacity of 415,000 barrels per day, and yet you're still importing massively, regardless of what the demand cycle is, where, I mean, you can say, yes, the demand is increasing significantly, but at the same time, you can bridge that demand by making sure that your refineries are working at full capacity, where you can reduce the level of supply based on importation. Today, I mean, essentially we're importing. I'd say, I mean, we can be told whatever we want to. I'm sure we're at least about 85% dependent on imports into this country, and that's not good for our economy.
It's not just talking about the petroleum sector, but every aspect.
Yeah.
We import everything that we use.
Mostly.
The manufacturing sector is still not at the peak, and
Sure.
there's been a lot of talks as to how to revive it. Okay, let me now look at this issue, which has to do with building new refineries. We've seen effort by some private operators, private sector operators, planning. Someone like Dangote, who says that he's been able to get some consortium with banks to finance the building of new refineries. But while we wait for that to happen, and how long will that take to build it? Before then, what should we do?
What should we do? The refineries provide us, at least for the common man, 3 basic products: diesel, petrol, and kerosene. The other products are products that are really not too commonly used by the common man. But what do we do while we are waiting for refineries to come on board? We have gas, we have LPG. It's being produced in Nigeria in millions of metric tons annually, and we're expecting about 95% of it. Only about 5% of it is used in Nigeria because the use is not encouraged. In actual fact, I have always said there's absolutely no need for any Nigerian to cook with kerosene. And here we're talking about kerosene subsidy here, kerosene not being available, where we have gas, we have LPG. And If LPG use is encouraged by government, then we will be able to do away with all the problems we've had with kerosene and even petrol, because cars run on petrol. My car runs both on petrol and LPG. It's here, parked outside there. So when people have, when there's a petrol shortage, I just switch to my LPG.
But how many Nigerians can afford that kind of a car?
Not all Nigerians can, but I tell you what, if there's a will, like Dio said, there's a way. In Ghana, my taxi man rides a 140 Nissan, 1,400cc Nissan. He runs on LPG because the government has supported the use of LPG.
Now, talking about encouraging LPG, I just want
Yes.
to cut in there. Is it really affordable for Nigerians?
It is absolutely affordable. We've done all the tests. Your liter of LPG will give you more burning fire than a liter of kerosene. Clear. That's proven. And it is cheaper. But what the problem is with using LPG is that starting point where you have to buy the cylinder. That's where the common man needs support. And that's where you must give it to Lagos State. Lagos State is just giving out 20,000 cylinders to the populace. Local government by local government, every week they are giving out 3,000-4,000 cylinders. And the 20,000 is pilots. We're told that it's going to go to 50,000 between now and March next year. That is what government should be doing. Encourage the use of LPG by providing that utensil that allows people to start using it. Once they start using it, I don't know anybody who has started using gas that went back to kerosene. No, I don't know any. Even the mama puts, you know, when you introduce them to kerosene, they tell you so the testimonies like, oh, I don't smell anymore. My husband even comes near me these days. Yeah, I didn't know it was my smell that was driving him away before. Apart from the fact that they are healthier, we are creating a better environment. We are burning kerosene, we are promoting kerosene, we are giving work to other people to do in other countries. If, for instance, some of that subsidy money on kerosene, take 10 billion, is used to provide cylinders. You are going to provide 1,000,000 6 kg cylinders, complete with burners, to 1,000,000 homes in Nigeria. Look at the effect of that on the economy. Those people that are going to sell the cylinders will make money. They will employ people. People are going to now start producing cylinders. They will recruit people, 200-300 here and there. Apart from that, there will be distributors. There will be people who will fill the gas. There will be retailers. So look at the chain that you are going to provide. The value chain, you know, is going to do a lot for the economy. So while we wait for the refineries to come, there are things that can be done.
All right.
And it's being demonstrated, at least presently in Lagos State.